Hello and welcome to another Flying Predator Battle Report. This time we're bringing you White Scars and Grey Knights versus Ultramarines. The White Scars and Grey Knights are piloted by myself, or commanded by myself rather, Jay White, and the Ultramarines are going to be commanded by Metal Rancor, another writer for the blog. Check us out on theflyingpredator.blogspot.com. And real quick, let's just go over the armies together. So, like I said, Metal Rancor is bringing Ultramarines, no allies, just trying to try out a bunch of stuff. So he's got Tigurius there as his warlord. He's got two identical squads of tactical marines with a melta-gun and a multi-melta. One of them is riding in a rhino, the other one is riding in a drop pod. And then he has two squads of identical stern guard that have three combi meltas. They're both mounted in drop pods as well. He has a scout squad next to that rhino right there. He's also got two land speeder typhoons with missiles and multi-meltas. He's got a storm talon gunship right there with the missiles and the assault cannon. And then he also has a squad of Thunderhammer Storm Shield Terminators that are deep striking, and a squad of Devastator Centurions with las cannons and an omniscope for night fighting. So that's his army, straight Ultramarines. Now, let's take a look at mine. It's the same army I played last time in the last battle report against Zins, but I've done a lot of converting and painting since then and got some models, so it's going to look a lot better. So unfortunately, I still don't have a model for Khan, who's in the middle there, so I'm still trying to figure out what to do for him. But I've got Khan as my warlord. He's with a company command squad with grab guns and storm shields, and then a chapter master with a power fist and the shield eternal. As my troops choice for my White Scars, I'm taking two outflanking squads of tactical marines inside rhinos, each with a melta-gun. And then I also have a stalker. And then I have Grey Knight allies, Inquisitor Kotiaz, with a squad of 10 Terminators with sidebolt ammo and two side cannons. There's various weapons throughout there too, hammers and halberds and stuff. I also have a Dread Knight with personal teleporter and heavy incinerator. And then I have an Inquisitorial detachment, an Inquisitor with 3 servo skulls, the Liber Horatius, I can't remember what it's called, but it gives him those special rules, and I also upgraded him to a Psyker level 1. The psychic powers, he got Prescience on the Inquisitor. I've got the Overwatch ability, lets me fire a full ballistic skill on Kotiaz, as well as another Prescience. So not the greatest psychic powers, but that's okay. So we're playing Bay Area Open Scenario 1, which is the big gun's primary and the relic secondary. You can see the relic in there. The big gun objectives, I tried to place mine towards the board edges because I have the outflanking rhinos, so you can see some of them towards the board edge back there. And then Metal Rancor placed his towards the middle, so he could have nice firing lanes on each objective. So here's my deployment. I went ahead and just deployed in a straight line. I was going to be scouting first, and since I have Kotiaz, I'm not really afraid to get seized on. So you'll see my guys up there, my stalker back there to try and take some shots at whatever he can, because I have a feeling he's going to castle up back there, which, as you can see in his deployment, he deployed Tigurius with the Centurions on that piece of terrain, and then a attack rhino behind it. Everything else is in reserve for him, so he's got the drop pods, he's infiltrating the scouts, and then he's got the Storm Talon and the Thunderhammer Storm Shield Terminators and the Land Speeders all coming in on the drop pod locator beacons. Then you see my two outflanking rhinos and tactical marines there. So my scout moves granted to me by my Inquisitor and my White Scars, my Khan being my warlord. So my bikes just moved around that building to stay out of the way of my Terminators, and my Terminators moved up to try and get a better position and maybe shoot those Centurions turn 1. So my turn 1 turned out to be pretty effective. So you can see how I continue moving my Terminators up there. I moved my bikes around. I thought I was going to try and shoot my grab guns, but I didn't have range. My Dread Knight shunted first turn to wipe out most of those scouts. I was going for first blood. Most of those scouts that infiltrated in that building there. The big deal is my Chapter Master dropped his orbital bombardment on that Centurion squad with Tigurius. Centered down Tigurius, he failed to look out, sir, and was insta-killed along with Strength 10 2 other guys. And my Terminators took a couple shots that weren't really in range of anything. I should have ran them, but then my Stalker shot at the lone Centurion that was left, and took 1 wound off him, so he went to ground, so he's not going to be doing much next turn. Alright, Ultramarines turn 1. So it was really great that I killed Tigers right away to get Warlord and First Blood, but it kind of sucked for Metal Rancor, because I know he wanted to try that guy out, but I just couldn't let him threaten me like that. So his reserves came in. His Stern Guard squad immobilized and stunned my Stalker with their melta-guns, and these other Stern Guard squad that came in shot at my Dread Knight that used to be there. They didn't kill it. The Scout squad took a shot, rended the Dread Knight. I thought I was going to lose my last wound to that lone Scout extracting his revenge, but it turns out that the Stormbolter from the drop pod, after I made my invuln save on that rend, Stormbolter was the one that took the last wound off of me. Those guys combat squatted out and wanted, with the intention of shooting my Dread Knight, but he had already died, so they're just kind of sitting out there. The Centurion wasn't able to do anything because he had gone to ground. So yeah, I took a pretty heavy casualty with my Dread Knight, kind of trading off for that huge orbital bombardment I had in the first turn. So coming back to my turn, I didn't have I did have reserves, but my Terminators went ahead and scooted across to shoot up those Stern Guard that were over there and did lots of damage. My bikes wiped out all but one from that squad, then failed a charge. Then my 2 reserved Rhinos came in there. I should have got them out, but I wanted to keep them safe inside the Rhino. Got them out to try and shoot the Stern Guard squad that was over there. And yeah, I don't have many units on the table. They're all big, heavy hitting units. That Scout's still left there. So my shooting phase doesn't really take much time. I have a lot of firepower. It's just they're concentrated in a couple units. My Stalker wasn't able to do anything. He tried shooting at that Scout, but missed all his shots with snapfire at ground targets. So Eric's turn 2. Things aren't looking too great for him at this point, but he has a ton of reserves to come in. So sorry about the camera here. There's something screwed up with the recording, where the aspect got a little wonky, so it's really zoomed in. I apologize for that, but his Storm Talon came in, those land speeders you saw before came in, and they all shot at my Rhinos, and did 2 hull points to each one. Combined fire from all his tactical Marines shot at my Chapter Master and ended up taking, I believe, 1 wound off, and they also killed 2 bikes from that drop pod right there. Stormbolters from drop pods and everything like that shot at my Terminators. Didn't really do anything, but the Centurion did stand back up, shoot the Stalker, but failed to penetrate it. So you can see there the land speeders, and slightly off camera is the Storm Talons right behind it, right behind my other Rhino too. Basically what they did is they blocked all my entrances, so I couldn't get my guys out, and after failing to destroy it by shooting, they charged it and trapped my guys, so the whole squad was destroyed. Kind of a mistake on my part for leaving those guys so close to the board edge. I didn't really expect him to go after my troops, but he didn't really have much of a choice, seeing as I did a lot of damage to his heavy-hitting unit, so he really kind of had to. So on my turn, I decided not to get my guys out of that Rhino over there, but my Terminators did wipe out that one combat squad, and my bikes wiped out the other combat squad that came out of that drop pod right there with grav guns and cyber ammo. Chapter Master broke off, killed a combat squad by himself, because he's just a boss. And then my Stalker actually did work. He took out that Storm Talon that was there and took out a land speeder, so that was pretty crazy. He rolled 6s on both his penetration rolls. And then so I decided not to get my infantry out, which ended up being a mistake because they were going to get caught in the wreckage again. They just took a snapshot at the land speeder and didn't do anything. So that's kind of what the board looks like right now. My Chapter Master's all by himself. I've wiped out most of his scoring units, but he still has that Scout left, and he has one more Marine over there. It was a shame that his Thunderhammer Stormshield Terminators didn't come in that turn, his previous turn, but as you'll see, they come in on his turn 3. So you can see the Stern Guard and the land speeder did the same thing to my other Rhino and wiped out my whole squad because I couldn't get out of the wreckage. His Terminators came down, ran forward, stared menacingly at my Terminators, and then he got one of his infantry units in the Rhino there. His Centurion finally was able to destroy my Stalker with 1 more penetrating hit. It only had the 1 hull point left. Stormbolter took out a Terminator. Our bikes were left relatively unharmed. So you can see he doesn't have that many units left. He's got the land speeder over there and some stern guard, but they're kind of out of the fight right now because my troops were so far from my central forces. So on my turn, I was just kind of went ahead and did some cleanup work. These guys, their shooting destroyed all of the Terminators. He rolled, well, I think something like 5 ones on 13 wounds. My bikes shot at the back of the Rhino, did a hull point, and then rammed their bikes in with Hammer of Wrath to wreck it. The one guy got out. You can see the wreckage there. And then my Chapter Master went ahead and killed that lone scout because I didn't want him grabbing an objective last turn and really kind of screwing me over. So yeah, those guys are sitting over there. I've got the relic pretty handily. I was hoping my Stalker would survive to stay on that big guns objective, so it looks like I'm just going to have to win on the relic and bonus points. Because my Terminators can't string out. But he's still got that one scoring unit contesting that objective. That objective's uncontested. So is that one over there. You can see the only scoring units left are one Tactical Marine in my big Terminator squad. But I have Linebreaker, First Blood, and Warlord right now, so I'm looking pretty good even if I just grab the relic, which will be extremely difficult for him to take. Things are winding down. He doesn't really have much left. He's just going to try and shoot me off an objective here. Hope the game goes on, but we decided to call it at the end of his turn because there's just nothing he could do. His Centurion that was up on oh, actually, his land speeder, first of all, tried to, shoot my Chapter Master with missiles and multi-melt. It didn't end up doing anything. The Centurion that was on that little piece there, that little missile silo, jumped down, shot and assaulted, didn't kill anything, and died to Overwatch from the grav guns. So if we would have gone on next turn, obviously I would have assaulted that lone Tactical Marine who was contesting that objective, and then my Terminators would have been fine to just sit on that relic. So yeah, my list performed real well. It was a little bit of the Stalker actually killing that Storm Talon and a land speeder was just super clutch. Unfortunately for Metal Rancor, I took out Tigurius first turn, which really sucked for him. It really screwed up his battle plan, but overall it was a great game. I'm liking the Grey Knight White Scars list. Thanks a lot for watching. We appreciate it, and we'll put up some more battle reports in the future. Thanks, guys.